There are many challenges when it comes to doing reskilling at scale with the desired impact. It could be all the way from identifying what are the right skills to reskill in terms of focus, to the way reskilling needs to be carried out, and absolutely how we ensure the entire ecosystem is involved.
So the challenges with reskilling, I think, are many, and many of them are caught in our legacy ways of approaching workforce development. We will typically look at reskilling efforts through legacy metrics and historical metrics that haven't placed the value, quite honestly, on people, where the value needs to be placed on people. It needs to be placed on people and their potential. I think once you break yourself out of looking at the metrics from a traditional and legacy point of view, you open yourself up to new possibilities of metrics that have a lot of potential to drive value for businesses, for the communities.
The biggest challenge is to have the organizational commitment and the organizational culture for being able to drive it. So committing culturally that this is something that's actually important for you to do, putting the funding behind it that needs to be there in order to make it successful, and then having the leadership attention to be able to drive the results.
Some of the best practices that we've seen from our research of 40 global reskilling innovators is that reskilling needs to start from the top as a strategic imperative. What is the business strategy of your company, and how does that translate into new skills that your people need? How do you try to make this not just a standalone HR initiative, but an initiative where every business and leader is involved? This is not just a training initiative. It's a change management initiative where we need to upskill and reskill, not just with the core technical, functional, and interpersonal skills, but really help an individual make a career transition. This will require a lot of support from the organization, peer mentoring, and feedback, as well as support from the manager to make it happen.
From an organizational perspective, many business leaders worry that it costs a lot to reskill people. It takes actually a lot of time and energy, and they're not clear if there's actually an ROI or they're going to be a benefit once those employees are upskilled or reskilled, because maybe they'll leave, and therefore all of that investment will be lost.
A couple of main challenges with reskilling is first, knowing what skills really are missing. It's not as easy as it sounds. I think in general, we know what it is. Digital, generative AI, and so on and so on. But a lot of companies struggle with having a good list of skills they have, list of skills they need, and forecasting the gap in between. So first figuring out what we need, and then finding the right intervention to build it. Reskilling programs are quite different than regular training. I mean, moving a person from one job to another job could mean a real change in their lives. For example, someone who has experience in blue-collar type of roles and suddenly will be in an office type of role, it needs a lot more. That is such a big change, needs a lot more support than just the training. And I think most companies, they don't really have the experience with that at the moment. So it's kind of an emerging field. Companies are just starting to learn from each other.
The other key challenge is that we need to not only know what talent we have, but what talent we're going to need. And that takes actually looking out into the future in ways that most companies aren't used to. We need to be able to get the signals of what's emerging. We need to be able to respond quickly to those signals, and we need to be able to have structures that allow us to be a lot more adaptive than we're used to being.